Hey everybody, Kenny Jr. here and welcome back to Stick to Games. In today's episode, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently because I'm actually going to be covering a composition that doesn't have a drum part in it. So that means we're going to be doing a little bit of playing by ear today. Playing by ear is one of the greatest ways to foster your creativity as a drummer. It really allows you to be sort of free when you play and just kind of do whatever comes to mind. If you hear a song that should be played a certain way in your head, it still leaves it up to interpretation because the person next to you may believe it to sound like something else. A great example is the Mii Plaza theme. There's a couple of different interpretations out there that I've heard. The top hits on YouTube revolve around a halftime feel. Another one uses a hybrid mix between a halftime feel and then it switches over to a bossa nova feel. The primary style we'll be going over today is bossa nova because when I hear the Mii Plaza theme, I hear a full-on bossa nova. And by the way, the bossa nova, which pretty much means the new wave or the new way, is actually a Brazilian rhythm. It's usually characterized by its soft volume applications and its heavy use of syncopation. That's going to be the style that we focus on today. I'm going to show you guys my interpretation of the Mii Plaza theme. So as I mentioned earlier, I've heard this particular one covered in two different ways. The first was with a halftime feel. Now, even though this isn't our primary section, I did want to go ahead and talk about it just a little bit. So halftime generally refers to when the drums will switch up the feel of the composition and they will play with an emphasis on the 3. This gives the illusion that the song has a slower tempo than it actually does. So even though it sounded like I was playing a rather slow composition, the tempo was actually quite moderate. Well, now I'm going to get into the primary focus, which is the bossa nova. So in the sheet music, we can see some key elements of the bossa nova coming out. Notice how the snare drum falls on a bunch of different upbeats, and we have this repeated pattern in the kick. That's a standard rhythm played in bossa nova. And typically in those types of ensembles without a drum set, each one of these parts is assigned to a different instrument. In addition, we have a couple of ambient effects, such as an open double stroke roll on the ride cymbal, and a couple of open close hi-hat that cue with the rest of the music. So we can break this down part by part and just quickly identify all of the elements that make this work, in my personal opinion. And before I get started, you'll also want to notice in this exercise that the snare drum is always going to be played with a cross stick. I won't be able to do that on mine, but I have switched the sound. So even though I'll be using a regular stroke, just remember to use a cross stick on your acoustic set. So in that section, we could hear a couple of those elements coming out a little bit. The consistency of the semi-ostinato pattern in the bass. You heard the syncopated rhythms in the snare drum. And you heard the hi-hat and the ride cymbal used for special effects and cues alongside the ensemble. This time we're going to take the second ending. And in the second ending, we once again see that ostinato in the bass. We see what will be like a shaker pattern in the hi-hat, constant eighth notes, and then the cues. You don't hear it now because we're playing this without the track, but all of those snare drum hits actually happen to line up with what the music is doing. You'll hear that part in the violin. We're going to keep pushing to the last part. That just about covers everything I wanted to talk about here, so we're going to run this top down. And as you do, just remember, this is the Bossa Nova, so to perfectly capture the style, you're going to want to play at a very quiet volume and feel free to use special effects, more so if you think you can come up with something else. You can try to play along with me, or you can choose your own cover to play. Alright all, and that just about does it for us here today. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I sure hope that this fosters the creativity inside of all of you. I really hope that you guys can make some videos and tag me in them to give me your own personal spin on the Mii Plaza theme. As always, remember to like the video, remember to subscribe to see future videos, keep up with me on social media, I'm on Twitter and Instagram, and don't forget to leave comments requesting me to do other video game compositions as lessons. Till next time.